My ex-wife banned me from attending our son's wedding. And the worst part? He agreed with her. But let's see how much he listens to his mother when I pull the plug on everything I already paid for. I know what you're thinking, toxic ex-wife, bitter father. But you don't have to take my word for it. The story speaks for itself. I'm 46, with 2 sons, Ethan, 25, and Ryan, 21. Their mother, Victoria, and I divorced years ago after she cheated on me. She walked away, and I was the one who stayed, the one who raised them, the one who tried to be both father and mother. She was never much of a mom, so I worked twice as hard to make sure they didn't feel her absence. A few months ago, Ethan got engaged to Chloe. I was thrilled for him, happy he found a good woman. But money was tight for them, and they couldn't afford the kind of wedding they dreamed about. I never had a proper wedding myself, so I decided to give Ethan and Chloe what I never had. I stepped up and paid for everything. I booked the reception hall Chloe had always wanted. I covered the decorations, the flowers, the band, the luncheon, everything to make sure their big day was perfect. Then today, everything crashed down. Ethan called me and said he and Chloe wanted to downsize the wedding. At first, I thought it was about cutting the guest list or saving money. I had no idea what he was really trying to say. I even suggested they could use my backyard, it's big, beautiful, and could easily host a wedding. But Ethan said no, the reception hall was Chloe's dream, and that wasn't changing. Something in his voice told me there was more, so I pressed him. Finally, after a long pause, he blurted it out. Actually, Mom doesn't feel comfortable with you being there. Can you just let it go? You'll have Ryan's wedding. He said it like it was nothing. No apology. No discussion. Just this is how it is. I froze. He didn't ask what I thought. He didn't ask how I felt. He just informed me, and then hung up. Maybe to some of you, it doesn't sound like the end of the world. But to me? After everything I've done, after all the sacrifices, it felt like betrayal. You need to understand the context. After Victoria and I split, I never remarried. I didn't even date seriously. My whole life revolved around my boys. Every choice I made, every hour I worked, was for them. Victoria and I didn't end on good terms. Cheating tends to do that. And yet, it hadn't always been bad between us. We met in college. Back then, things were good, we were close, had the same classes, the same friends. Everything changed when she got pregnant unexpectedly during our senior year. It wasn't planned. Our parents panicked, but my father told me to step up, be a man, marry her, and take responsibility. Her parents pushed for the same. So we went to the registry, said our vows in front of our parents, and that was it. No celebration, no dreams, just obligation. The first years were rough. Victoria wanted to stay home with the baby, and I had to work 2 jobs to keep us afloat. Eventually, I got a promotion, and things seemed to get better. But not for long. When Ryan was born, the weight doubled. She seemed frustrated, restless, like she hated the life we were living. I thought it was just stress or postpartum depression, so I gave her space. But her bitterness only grew. Then one night, after Ryan turned 1, I confronted her. I told her she could go back to school or work if that would make her happier. That's when she finally confessed, she had been seeing someone else for months. And the man wasn't just anyone. It was one of our closest friends from college. She told me she couldn't live this life anymore. That the children and I were holding her back. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I simply told her, you're free to do whatever you want. That same night she packed her bags and walked out the door to live with her lover, leaving our boys asleep in their beds, too young to understand that their mother was gone forever. I'll never forget their faces the next morning. Ryan cried for days, asking for his mommy. Ethan looked shattered, like a piece of him had been ripped out. And all I could do was hold them and wonder how a mother could abandon her children without even saying goodbye. Before you ask, yes, I did a paternity test. They are my sons. She just wanted to escape. She later claimed she was overwhelmed by motherhood, but deep down, I knew the truth: she was selfish. Toxic. Maybe she didn't love me anymore. Fine. But what about them? Her own children. She blamed me for being an absent father, but I was working 2 jobs to keep food on the table. What more could she have possibly expected? So she left. I got full custody. She moved to another country and barely called. I raised them alone. My parents helped sometimes, my sister stepped in when they were sick, and eventually I hired a nanny. But the day-to-day? That was me. Years later, she came back, wanting to reconnect. I let the boys decide. Surprisingly, Ethan was open to it. He forgave her, or at least tried to. Ryan, on the other hand, wanted nothing to do with her. He carried that wound like a scar, and it even drove a wedge between the brothers. Still, when Ethan announced he was getting married, he asked Ryan to be his best man. Ryan didn't want to at first, he didn't even want to sit in the same room as her, but for his brother's sake, he said yes. And me? I swallowed my own feelings. I told myself it was Ethan's day, not mine. If he wanted his mother there, fine. I wouldn't cause a scene. But nothing could prepare me for what came next. Ethan cut me out. He chose her, the woman who abandoned him, over me, the father who sacrificed everything. She never paid for their education. She never stayed up nights helping them through school. She never financed this wedding. I did all of that. And yet, she gets to be mom. She gets the seat of honor. While I, the one who never left, am treated like a problem to be erased. I can't describe how much it hurt. It felt like a knife straight to the heart. The wedding was right around the corner. I had already spent thousands on the reception hall, the flowers, the band, the catering. But after that phone call, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't. So I made a choice. The next morning, I canceled everything. The hall. The decorations. The caterers. The band. I ate the cancellation fees, it didn't matter anymore. The wedding day came, and since I hadn't been invited, I didn't tell anyone what I'd done. Guests showed up only to find locked doors and no reservation. Chaos. Ethan called me, furious. He didn't ask, he demanded. Can you fix this? My guests are here. The one thing you had to do, and you ruined it. I let him shout. Then, calmly, I told him the truth. I was the one who cancelled it all. Ethan couldn't even process what I had just told him. He went quiet. And I'll be honest with you, I felt satisfied. For once, he got a taste of what it's like to be dismissed. But, why? He finally asked. Because it's your wedding, I replied calmly. You invite whoever you want. But it's not my wedding, so I don't have to pay for it. He tried to argue, maybe even plead, but I hung up. And unlike him, I said, I have to go, I have other plans. After that, Ethan scrambled. He emailed all the guests saying the wedding would be postponed to later in the afternoon, new time and location to follow. Ryan called him, confused, asking what happened. And of course Ethan twisted the story. He told Ryan I cancelled everything out of spite because his mother was invited. He conveniently left out the part where he had banned me from attending. Ryan then called me. I told him the truth, the whole story. And do you know what he did? He laughed. He actually congratulated me. Good job, Dad, he said. I'm proud of you. Get some rest. Meanwhile, chaos exploded. Ethan and my ex-wife tried begging the venue manager to reinstate the reservation, but the hall had already been booked for a political meeting that couldn't be cancelled. They scrambled to find another venue, but there was nothing available at the last minute. Ethan texted me, okay, you can be part of the wedding if you find a venue in the next 2 hours. Can you believe that? As if I was his personal assistant. I told him flatly, not my job. Ask your mother. In the end, they settled for my ex-wife's garden. Ryan refused to step foot in her house. If Dad's not invited, I'm not going either, he told Ethan. Only a handful of people showed up because of the abrupt changes. After the honeymoon, Chloe, yes, his wife, messaged Ryan, saying she was disappointed in us for not being there, and that Ethan had been devastated by my absence. That's when the truth came out. Ethan had lied to her, told her I cancelled the wedding out of spite, conveniently leaving out that he had forbidden me from attending. When she confronted him, he brushed it off, I was stressed. Forget about it. But she didn't forget. She told him to apologize to me. He refused. It's my wedding, he said. I can invite and forbid whoever I want. That enraged her. She realized Ethan was ungrateful, maybe even poisoned by his mother's influence. She spoke to Ryan and admitted she was worried. Ethan had grown too close to Victoria, and she feared it would damage their marriage. Apparently, on the wedding day, when Chloe complained about the ruined plans, my ex smirked and said, "This is better than what I got, so you better enjoy it." Chloe was furious. Ethan excused it, saying, "She's just stressed." But according to Chloe, the only person who looked genuinely happy at that wedding was Victoria. Happy that I wasn't there. Happy she'd won. Even Chloe's parents were embarrassed. Most of their guests didn't show because of the confusion. And of course, Ethan and Victoria blamed me. The grumpy old man ruined everything. But you know what? I don't care. Because the truth always comes out. Chloe has started telling people what really happened, and it's only a matter of time before Ethan faces the consequences of his lies. 2 weeks after the disaster, Chloe showed up at my door. No call, no warning. She looked different, sad, drained. I let her in. She apologized. She told me if she had known Victoria was behind all of this, she would have fought harder, maybe even cut her out. She said Ethan lied to her, that he just wanted to give his mother the spotlight she never had. But Victoria's spotlight has already poisoned their marriage. Victoria has been feeding Ethan advice about being a real man, which to her means being controlling. He started questioning everything Chloe does, involving his mother in every decision. 2 weeks into the marriage, Chloe had enough. She packed her bags and went back to her parents. She said she couldn't breathe with Victoria constantly in the middle of their lives. And all I can think is, this is exactly what I tried to warn him about. Chloe came to me hoping I could talk some sense into Ethan. I felt sorry for her, but I told her the truth. I'm sorry. I can't step into this mess. If I do, Victoria will twist it and make things worse. Then your marriage will just become collateral damage in our fight. You need to talk to Ethan yourself. Show him who his mother really is. If he loves you, he'll choose you. If not, then maybe you're fighting a battle you can't win. She was upset, but she didn't press me. And I thought that was the end of it. But it wasn't. It got worse. I got an email from Mark, yes, Victoria's lover. The man who broke up my marriage, my so-called friend. He actually apologized. Said he never realized Victoria was still so bitter, still trying to erase me from our sons' lives. He admitted she had been spreading lies, telling people I was a bad father who ruined Ethan's wedding. But Mark told the truth. He exposed her. Meanwhile, Ethan and Chloe's marriage kept falling apart. Victoria whispered poison in Ethan's ear every day. When Chloe confronted him, he demanded she apologize to Victoria. Chloe refused. She called out Victoria's manipulation. And instead of defending his wife, Ethan defended his mother. Since Chloe moved out, Ethan hasn't even tried to win her back. Victoria tells him not to soften up. She swears Chloe will return if he just stays firm. Mark overheard her coaching Ethan to divorce his wife, blaming me for everything, saying I filled the boys' heads with lies. But tell me, if I'm lying, then what's the truth? Why did the boys grow up with me? Where was Victoria when they cried for their mother? I've realized it isn't me who keeps dragging her into my life. It's her. She's obsessed with controlling me, even now. She destroyed my marriage, turned my son against me, and now she's ruining his marriage too. Chloe. It breaks me to see Chloe suffer. She never deserved this. But I know if I jump in, Victoria will just twist the story further. So I stay on the sidelines. For now, I protect my peace. She wanted to rob me of it, but I won't give her that satisfaction. And maybe I know why she's so furious lately. I've been dating someone. At first, quietly. Then, a few months ago, I made it official. She's 35, kind, and she makes me happy. Happier than I've been in years. Victoria calls it humiliating, disgusting. But everyone can see the truth, she's jealous. Chloe even told me, Victoria talks about me constantly. About my relationship. About my life. She's obsessed. And honestly, it's pathetic. 1 year later. Ethan and Chloe should have been celebrating their anniversary today. Instead, they're filing for divorce. Victoria never let go. She kept feeding Ethan lies, that I was a cruel husband, that she left because of me, that Ryan and I turned against her unfairly. Ethan believed every word. Victoria inserted herself into their marriage completely. She showed up at his office for lunch. She brought dinner to their house. She tagged along everywhere, demanding time that should have belonged to his wife. Ethan saw nothing wrong. He thought, it's just a few hours with Mom, what's the harm? But Chloe saw it for what it was. Every private moment, every chance to build a marriage, was overshadowed by Victoria. She felt invisible. Like a second option. And the saddest part? She was right. Chloe tried until she couldn't anymore. In her words, she couldn't spend her life with a man so emotionally blind, someone chasing validation from his absent mother instead of seeing the truth in front of him. She ended it. Ryan tried to talk sense into Ethan, but Ethan lashed out, calling him a mother hater, accusing him of being under my influence. He even blamed me for everything, that I was the reason Victoria left, that I ruined his childhood. Hearing that broke me. I gave my best. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but I tried. Still, it feels like I failed him. Then I heard the news, Mark, the man who helped tear my marriage apart, finally left Victoria. Even he couldn't stand her toxicity anymore. She had become obsessed with Ethan, trying to smother him with the love she never gave him as a child. But Ethan isn't a boy anymore. She can't rewrite the past. She failed as a mother, failed as a wife, failed even as a partner. As for me, I'm not rushing anything. My girlfriend recently moved in, and we're taking things slowly. We're happy. Ryan has met her twice and, thankfully, sees no red flags. My sons are grown men now, they shouldn't resent me for moving on. Victoria? She's out of the picture. Good riddance. Someone commented once that Victoria has destroyed 3 marriages, 2 of them her own. And maybe they're right. Now both her marriage with Mark and Ethan's with Chloe are over. Mine ended long ago. In all 3, the common denominator was Victoria. I feel relief for Chloe. I was proud when she married Ethan because she was a wonderful daughter-in-law. Now I'm glad she's free, because she deserves better than living in Victoria's shadow. She even offered to pay me back for the money I lost from the cancelled wedding. Of course I refused, it wasn't her fault. It was my son's. Victoria, ironically, turned on Ethan too, blaming him for ruining her relationship with Mark. From what I hear, she's distanced herself, leaving him more alone than ever. And Ethan? He reached out to me recently, saying he wanted a man-to-man talk to clear the air. But I'm not interested. I did my duty as a father. I raised them the best I could after their mother abandoned them. I wasn't perfect. But I tried. He's an adult now. His life, his choices, his consequences. He even asked Ryan to convince me to talk. Ryan told him he'd respect my decision. Ethan snapped back, calling Ryan the golden child, the favorite. That made me laugh. If Ryan were my favorite, I wouldn't have paid for both boys' college or financed Ethan's wedding. Favorites? No. Just a father doing what he could. And maybe that's the cruelest part of it all, after everything I sacrificed, the son I raised still chose the woman who abandoned him.